Stephen Speak, a podcast about everything and nothing. Don't forget to subscribe. Hello, welcome to episode 16 of Stephen Speak. How the devil are you? Hope you're doing well. I'm absolutely roasting right now. The UK is going through another little bit of a heat wave, and I hope you can't hear the fan in the background, but if I don't have it on, I'll probably pass out mid-recording, and I don't edit, so there might be dead air, so we don't want that. How are you anyway? I hope you're doing well. Hope you're coping with everything all right, and you are raring to go for the next episode of Stephen Speak, which I don't even know what it's about. I'm not even going to lie. I pressed record. There's a few things floating around my brain, but I just thought I'd press record and see where we go to. But I think the thing at the moment, especially with this heat, I think the thing that's really on my mind at the moment is exercise, or the lack of it, and losing weight again. And I think that might be the subject of... you already know, because obviously you've seen the episode title, which I don't even know what it's going to be called yet. So you already know. I don't know why I'm telling you this, because you've tuned in because of the episode title or the content. So well done. Yeah, I think I'll chat about that. I think weight and image and exercise and just being generally well is always in your face, isn't it? It's always in the media, and we know as sensible human beings that, you know, you should eat the right things and you probably should be a bit more active than you are, unless you're super active already. Then, well done. But yeah, I mean, I think I've always kind of struggled with my weight, and it's just because again, it's down to my personality again, I think it's all down to how my brain works, being comfortable in my own skin, and then that whole vicious circle thing is when you're not comfortable, you do the wrong things. You know, you don't look after yourself when you're having them moments of anxiety and such things, and it's easier, let's face it, to desire something that's bad for you than to make the effort to make something that's healthy and, let's face it, probably doesn't taste as good. And I know people will say, you can make healthy things that taste just as good. I'm sorry, the reason why fast food tastes so good is because it's filled with shit. And our bodies get addicted to that shit. And to get that quick hit is pretty much what we need, isn't it? And all we need is that quick boost of sugars, especially when you feel a bit down, you know? And that's where the vicious circle thing comes. If you're a bit run down or you're a bit tired and you've got that lack of motivation, especially in weather like it is at the moment, you know, it's very easy just to go to the fridge and get an ice cream and such things. And you don't want to do exercise in this weather. I mean, I've seen people out running and jogging, and push biking's not so bad. I used to go out push biking in all sorts of weather. But going running and stuff like that is... yeah, I don't really like running anyway. So anyway, yeah. So I think for me, weight's always been I think it's something that creeps up on me, but I know it's going to happen. But when I do want to lose weight, I'm quite dedicated. I lost weight for the wedding when I got married to Sarah. I was a bit portly, probably the fattest I've ever been. And I basically didn't want to look like a fat slob for my wedding day. Like, you know what I mean? You want to look the best, don't you? You know, I wanted to look back on that wedding day and go, you know, how ace I look. You know, hopefully looking back with my future children, saying, look how good your dad looked with his long hair, wearing a kilt. And I didn't want to be portly, let's say. Because I didn't get skinny. But I think I lost about 2.5 stone. But it took me down to a reasonably good weight, and I think I looked all right, you know. But over the last couple of years, I blame COVID as well. You know, I changed jobs, so I was more office-based. And in the last few months, I've been doing a different job, which is kind of even more office-based, really. A lot more meetings and a lot less getting out and about away from my desk or my home office, as it is, in the same room I record this podcast in. And yeah, it creeps up on you. And it's only when you put that pair of jeans on, they start getting a bit snug, or you put a t-shirt on and it's a bit more snug. And I'm very much like, I go into denial a little bit. I'll be like, it's all right. I'll just not eat that cake that's in the fridge, or I'll do that and I'll do this and it'll be fine. And if I stick to that, then I'm normally okay. Because as I say, when I do commit to dieting, the weight does drop off me reasonably easy. And when I say diet, I don't really follow diet. Let's say, well, I do. I'm so contradictory today. I just cut out stuff. Yeah, it's like everything, moderation. So I'll try and cut down portion sizes. I'll try and cut out if I, put in excessive amount of cheese on things, or try not to have as many lattes or treats and cakes and stuff, and exchange like that cake that I would have for a healthy like fresh yogurt or something, and like a natural yogurt, or stop having as many cooked breakfasts and having a bit of granola, like just random things to help out. And I think if you start looking on the internet and stuff for diets and that, like it'll be like, you can't eat this, but you can eat this, and then another diet will say, oh, don't eat that at all, eat this. I try and do a little bit of a combined one. When I did lose weight for the wedding, I did, what was it, Weight Watchers? Slimming World, I did. So I'd go to the meetings every week and pay my money to get weighed in. And I was a bit dubious at first, but I thought I needed some structure. And to be fair, going and getting weighed in every week was kind of a thing, because I think what it annoyed me that I was paying to be weighed. So I made sure that I lost weight for that weigh-in, and there was only a few times where I'd put weight on. I either stayed the same or lost a lot. I mean, and it doesn't make sense. This is how weird the body is sometimes, I think. And if I wish that I've actually kept like a diary of what I was eating and what exercise I was doing and how mobile I was, because there was one week, it was over one of my birthdays, that it's on Slimming World. Basically, what it is, you can eat certain amounts of food, like there's certain things that are free, so you can eat as much as if you want at any time of the day, and there's no you don't get penalised for it, basically, so you can just eat as much as you want. And another foods are called sins. So you're only allowed, I think I was keeping to about 15 sins a day. So sins are stuff like, so you're only allowed a certain amount of milk. So if you go over that milk boundary or that dairy boundary, it goes in a sin-wise. So many mils of milk is a sin. Same for other things like chocolate and stuff like that is obviously a sin. So like a cake would be a sin. So like a donut, I think a Krispy Kreme donut, a ring donut was like 15 or 16 sins. So if you had one of them in a day, you literally had to eat nothing but free food. So vegetables, lean meat and stuff like that. And it really worked. But it wasn't anything rocket science if you think about it. It was literally cook your own meals, make them from fresh, use vegetables, eat a lot of vegetables because it doesn't really matter how many you eat. You're allowed carbs, so you could eat you could make like baked potatoes and stuff, and they didn't count as any sins. And so it was kind of like quite a sensible diet, really. And I found it at first it was difficult because you're so used to going, you get into a habit sometimes of like them bad habits of eating bad. So it was quite easy to, I'm going to have that donut and I might have another one as well later on, or because everything comes in packs of 6 or whatever, and you don't want to waste food, and I'm terrible for wasting food. I get that from my parents. My mum being Irish and overfeeding you, and then my dad being ex-military, having to eat everything off his plate and maybe getting seconds if he could, because when he was in the army, that's kind of what they did, because they were exercising all the time. Basically fill your boots, literally. So it was kind of always like big portions on our house and finish your plate, really. And I'm sorry, I've got a can of Fanta. I don't know why I'm apologising. You're probably used to me drinking while I'm doing this by now. It's so hot. So I think with me, Fanta's probably not that good for me, is it? I should be drinking water or something. I've been drinking like juice, so not too bad. I think this Fanta affects me though. I'm pretty sure it's making me wheeze. So there must be some additives in it or something. I get quite sensitive to like E numbers, and I noticed I've drank a couple of cans of this over the last few days. It's quite refreshing, sparkling water, sparkling orange. It's kind of refreshing, but I have noticed that I've been a bit wheezy. Now, it could be the heat, but it's only started since I've been drinking that, so I have to keep an eye on that. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, it's easy to get into like a bad habit of just eating a random bag of crisps, and you don't realize how that adds up during the day. So Slimming World has all this ethos of free food and sins, but then you're also allowed a treat day. So it's like a day where you kind of have a bit of a blowout, basically. So I try to keep it to either one meal or two separate treats a day. So maybe we'd go out for a coffee and have a cake, and then we'd have a takeaway later on, or we'd have it all in one go, a takeaway, then a cake to finish, or we just do like one or the other. Obviously, doing one or the other is better for you because you're still eating less calories. But it was really good. But there was one time, as I say, around my birthday, where I thought it was going to be a bad weigh-in for me. I went there, and I paid my money. I think it was £4 every time you went. So it was quite expensive if you think about it. Like, just to get your book stamped and stand on a set of scales. Obviously, that paid for your membership as well. So it's swings and roundabouts, let's say. Yeah, so I got on the scales thinking, well, you've had a birthday this week, you've been out for a meal, you've had some cake, I had a birthday cake, someone else bought me cake, work bought me cake, so I'd had cake probably like 4 out of the 6 days between weigh-ins. I've been quite reasonably active, like at work and that, but because it was when I had a job that was a bit more active, walking on the tracks, because I work on the railway, so I was walking on the tracks a lot and visiting places and in and out of the work van, and so I was a little bit more active, but I was still expecting to like either stay the same or maybe even put 2 or 3 pound on because I'd been hammering the food. And I don't know if it's because like maybe my metabolism had changed because of my diet and eating a bit more healthy. I noticed my gut had changed, like my reaction to food was different. I'm not going to go into any more detail than that, but I noticed a change in my toiletry habits. Yeah, but I got on the scales, and I'd literally lost, was it 2 or 3, was it more? Was it like £4? It was something stupid, like 3 or 4 pound I'd lost in a week, having eaten a shitload of stuff. But the following week, I didn't lose anything. So I got to thinking that it was the week that you weighed in wasn't really the effect week. It took effect. It had must have taken a bit of time for the weight to metabolize or something. I don't know. It doesn't sound right to me, but that's how it seemed to go for me. So I've had a bit of a bad week. The following week is when I noticed it, rather than the actual week of the weigh-in. Yeah, but I did it. I think I achieved half a stone in 3 weeks, and a stone after about 5 or 6 weeks. And then it started to get slower then after that, because I think that was like the initial proper flabby fat. And then, yeah, it slowly came off after that. But I got down to, I lost 3 stone, actually. Because I was about 15.5 stone, 15 3/4. So I got down to, I lost over 3 stone, because I got down to like 12, just over 12 stone. So it's about 3.5 stone I lost. So, blimey. Unfortunately, I think I've put most of that back on. Maybe all of it back on. Which is really annoying to me, because when I lost all the weight and I was feeling healthy and I was feeling trim and I'd bought new clothes and I was feeling good in the stuff I was wearing, I said to myself, like, I'm not going to get back to that again, and I've proved I can stick to this diet. It's not that difficult. But situations change, we've been through some stressful times, personally, as well as, obviously, the whole pandemic. I say my job's changed. And I'm just recently, I'm really thinking, like, just my own health. I'm not getting any younger. I'm 39 this year. And I need to really take the reins, really. So I'm going back on. I'm not going to join Slimming World again. I'm just going to go back on the diet and follow it my own way. Yeah, but I'm definitely gonna like aim to watch what I eat more and cut out some of the crap. But exercise is a big thing for me. I don't do a lot of exercise, so I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna start by just doing some walking, getting active. Just basically just being active. Really, just get myself out there, going for like a morning walk, walking to work. I've got a bike in the garage that I hardly use, so I've decided I'm going to start using that to go to work on, I think. Even if it's just a couple of days a week, it's more than what I'm doing now. So I'm not gonna give myself a massive target, because this is what I do to myself, you see. In a lot of things that I do, I'll give myself like a mental plan, but it'll be overbearing. It'll be more than really that I can cope with, and I kind of overface myself. So I might follow it for like a few days, a week, 2 weeks, but then it's too much for me, or I it gets me down, and then I'm just like, I go off the rails a bit, and then I don't get back on. And I think that's where I've gone wrong with this whole putting the weight back on again. I've always said, we have a bad treat or something, or we have a bad week of food, and I go, for Monday I'll start being better, and then something happens where we'll go out, or we get something happens where we decide to go for a meal, and then it's like, next week I'll start, and before you know it, you've put 2 stone on. And and I think with them combinations of things, I think that's why I've piled it back on. But I really resent buying new clothes, so I've had to get out some of my older clothes. I've had to buy some new clothes because when I lost the weight, I did throw a lot of my clothes away. Donate them to charity, like some of the bigger stuff, because it looked ridiculous on me, because I had lost quite a lot of weight and it looked super baggy, and I didn't mind that. But Sarah was like, "You do look a bit weird." And it does look scruffy. So I took a lot of the stuff and put it in the garage for like gardening clothes. And the rest of it, some of it I kept. Some of my favourite t-shirts I kept. Some of my old football shirts, my American football shirts I kept. But I donated a lot of the way, because I think that was kind of like the little pledge to myself, because I hate buying clothes so much that, you know what, if you start putting enough weight on and you start needing to buy clothes, then you'll just stop eating shite and go back on the diet. That's not really happened. Well, it has and it hasn't. I've had to buy clothes out of necessity because I needed some new clothes, but I've also had to buy bigger sizes just for my own comfort, because it hurts when you have to go and buy a size up than you used to. You kind of feel disappointed in yourself that you've got that lack of restraint, and I hate buying clothes. I hate buying clothes in general. It's not even when I put weight on or whatever. And even if I lose weight, it annoys me, because I'm thinking, well, the stuff that I like won't fit me anymore because it's baggy. I'm going to have to buy new, skinnier clothes. And it's nice buying clothes when you think you look good in them, but I just don't like spending money on clothes. It's just a weird thing with me. I feel like clothes are... Even though I really like buying nice clothes, I'm such a contradiction. Clothes are expensive. I think that's more the point I'm getting to. Clothes are stupidly priced. And I would never... I buy a lot of my clothes in sales, and I wait for bargains, or the things that I buy that are expensive are niche things. So I have like a Honda Repsol like neoprene jacket, which cost like £200 because I wanted it, and that's it. That's the only reason I can say. But I justify that by the rest of my wardrobe being really, really cheap. Like jeans, I resent paying more than £10-15 for a pair of jeans. People that buy like £200 pairs of jeans, I'm just like, why? Because I don't see much of a difference. I think the most expensive pair of jeans I ever bought was probably about £25, and that was only because they were reduced from a ridiculous amount and they were Levi, and I tried them on and they were really nice, and I was living at home at the time, so I had a bit of a disposable income, and cared probably more then about brands than I do now. But yeah, I just don't like where I'm at the moment, and health-wise as well. I do have asthma, and I've noticed my wheezing and stuff, and I snore a little bit more when I've got a bit of weight around my jowls, and yeah, it's just, as I say, I'm not getting any younger, and things, you don't ever think things are going to happen to you until it does, and you hear people, having heart conditions and diabetes and things like that. And I'm thinking, I'm at that age where I'm getting a bit older, and I want to be trim. I don't want to be I don't want to be like a middle-aged man that can't play football with a child. So if me and Sarah have a baby, I don't want to be fat dad. And that sounds terrible, but I don't want to be. I want to be able to do stuff. And same with Sarah. I want her to find me attractive. Like, that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Like, and I'm not saying I'll ever have like a six-pack or anything like that. It's something to work for, I suppose. Maybe I turn 40 next year. Maybe I could say I'll have a six-pack by the time I'm 40. It's likely it'll be a six-pack of beer, but, and that might be something I target for. Maybe I'll say, I want to have a flat belly by the time I'm 40. And that gives me a target. But I would have to like write that down and make a space for exercise, and I mean, only last year I was riding 20 miles a day for charity on an exercise bike in my room during the lockdown and stuff. And yeah, I just I can do it, and you can do it, and you think you can't spare that hour to do a bit of exercise, but I was doing it last year. Like I got on my exercise bike every single day for 122 days, like pretty much in a row, and rode 20 miles. Yeah, and that was in recreation of my furthest points tour that episode 13 is dedicated to. So go back and check that out. So I recreated that basically on an exercise bike, and I just divided the 2,500 miles I did on a motorbike, and thought, all right, what's a good figure? So what's 20 divided by that? And it turned out to be 125 days. But I did it a bit quicker because I decided to go to Ireland, and I'd worked out my dates wrong, so I had to do a few more miles occasionally just to make it up. But yeah. So I can do it, and my exercise bike is bloody broken at the moment. The seat fell off it, so I'm going to have to get my welder out and see if I can weld it back together. But yeah, I've decided that I'm going to have to do something. I'm going to have to set a plan out. And things I really like doing weights. So maybe I've got some weights in the garage. Maybe that's what I can do, a bit of push biking and weights at home. And just watching what I'm eating. I love cake, though. That's the problem. I mean, what people say about if they've ever found like a magic lamp and it had a genie in it, and what they'd wish for, like wishes for fortune and love, and well, if Aladdin has anything to go by, you can't wish for love. But a lot of people would just wish to be rich or famous, or a combination of the two, and to be healthy maybe. I think what I would wish for is I would wish for my mind's eye's perfect physique for me. Which I'd like to be like a miniature John Cena. Not as muscular. Maybe something like, what's his face? Mark Wahlberg. He's got a good body. Something like that, muscular but not over the top, but, a bit ripped. But that would be one of the wishes, just to look nice. And maybe if you can combine that with being healthy, trim and healthy, don't want to get the cancer. Have that as one wish. Second wish would just be to eat whatever the frig I wanted and not affect my physique and not affect my cholesterol and my sugars and stuff like that. So just basically, if I want to go and eat like a 12-course meal, happy days, and it wouldn't put any weight on it, it wouldn't affect anything to do with me. I could just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. And the third one would be, if we're going to finish this off, would be to speak any language. I would love to be able to be multilingual, if that's the term, and to be able to speak every single language that there is going, which apparently at the moment in the world is about 7,300 dialects, which is a lot, but I just find that fascinating, just to be able to, and that was where the money would come in, because everyone says, but you wouldn't be rich, you'd be thin and be able to eat everything, but you'd have no money to buy all the food. But I would, because I would be freelance to multinational corporations or anyone that wanted to rent me just to basically translate anything. I would be the best translator. I could walk into a corporate office and just translate every single bloody conversation. Imagine the work you get from that. You'd be minted. So, and it would also take me around the world, so I could try multiple different things around the world, food-wise. Yeah. That is the genie dream, if I can attain it. To be slim and healthy, don't worry about disease. 2, be able to eat what the frig I want and not worry about putting on weight or affecting my health. And 3, being multilingual, be able to speak any language, and that's how I rake the coin in. You see, I'm not just a pretty face. Not even that. But yeah, I just need to do something at the moment. I'm not happy in my own skin. And that's not saying that why'd you let yourself get there in the first place? But I say these things just happen, don't they, sometimes, But I think I'm more annoyed than anything that I've let myself get back to this because of how much I'd lost previously. But I'm not happy. I feel a bit self-conscious at the moment. I understand that I'm getting out of breath easier. I run up a flight of stairs, I'm out of breath. And that's not good. Like, I'm 38. Like, I'm not old, and I shouldn't be like that. And I need to figure out. But I think it was with me with exercises that I don't. It's not that I don't like to do an exercise. When I get into it, I'm really into it. When I left school, I joined the gym. I was a bit flabby at school. So throughout life, I've varied quite a lot. I go thin, fat, thin, fat, thin, fat. So when I was very young, I was super skinny when I was like 7 years old. Hardly used to eat. My mum used to take me to the doctors, and the doctor basically said to me, "Mum, listen, let him eat what he wants as long as he's eating. If you're trying to force him things, like, it's probably going to make him go the other way, and it'll make him go the other way, and he'll probably stop eating altogether." So I used to love cheese sandwiches, and crisps. I have talked about this in a previous episode. Like a packet of Quavers would last me like 3 or 4 days. A packet of Wotsits, Sunday dinners, and cereal. And that's pretty much what I ate. There's a few other things obviously thrown in, bit of chocolate here and there. But I hardly ate anything. But it was all right. But I was very, very skinny. Like I know I was about 6 or 7. I weighed like 2.5, 3 stone. So I was a dot. And then obviously when I started going to junior school, then I got a bit of puppy fat, so I kind of went the other way then. I started getting a bit chubby. And I was pretty much like that throughout school. And I didn't really grow that much between like junior school and leaving school. Like I think when I left school, I was like 5'1". And between like probably April to like September, I grew like about 6 inches, like 5 inches. So I'm 5'7" now. 5'7.25", I think. The quarter makes a difference. Yeah. And then when I was like coming towards the end of school, I started going to the gym, and I think that really kicked off my testosterone and kicked off a bit of a growth spurt in me. I started riding my bike. I was riding my bike to the gym, then riding it home again, and then I got a part-time job, and I was riding it to work, and I was riding to college, then going to the gym. So I was really pounding the gym for about a year, and I got quite buff, you know, not like proper muscular. But I was slim. But even then, I thought I was fat. Like if you asked me, I found a picture from then, and I wasn't fat at all. I was quite slim. But I've always been broad, so I think I look a little bit chunky. You know, even if I am thin, if you know what I mean. And I've always had that. And then I joined the railway. As I say, got a part-time job on the railway, and that was quite physical. Like walking around all day, helping people with luggage. And I was riding my bike to work, then riding it home. And it turns out, like, I was wondering, like, why I could stay so thin then. Because I used to eat crap and drink beer and go out with my mates a lot. But when you think about it, I was riding to work. I was riding, say, like, to college from my hometown, which is probably like 3.5 miles there. Then I was riding to my girlfriend's house sometimes. Then riding to work. So it was like another 3, 4, 5 miles there. Then riding home. Then sometimes going back to my girlfriend's or to my mates in Nantwich. So when you add it up, I was probably doing, like, anywhere between 10 and 20 miles a day. And that's a lot, really, if you think about it. That's a lot of riding. And that was every single day. Now, could I do that now? Yes, I could. I could go the long way to work and probably do a 5-mile ride to work and a 5-mile ride back. And I could go out on the weekend for a short ride or for a walk. So that's the kind of thing I've got in my head. Like, I used to do it. Why is it different now? And it isn't different fundamentally. It's just that it's probably a lack of motivation, and my work's changed, and I'm older. Like, that probably is a factor, that my energy levels probably aren't what they were, and I feel like I have to reserve them. But I don't think I do. If I eat right and do exercise, you know, exercise does weirdly energize you. So we'll see. We'll see with that, you know. I don't want to buy any more clothes, though. I really don't. And I'm hoping this week coming is going to be the start of, you know, it is. You know what? I'm going to have an affirmation. I'm going to be positive. This week will be the start of me watching what I eat and start of doing some exercise, and I will write a plan. And you guys need to hold me to that. Like, kick me up the arse if you see me posting pictures of cakes on social media, unless it's treat day. # treat day. Yeah. You know, let me know your struggles. You know, am I unique? I don't think so. I think lots of people have this issue. I think lots of people feel they need to eat something when they feel sad sometimes. You know, that quick sugar rush, really. That's what it is, isn't it? And I found out recently as well that people with like autism and ADHD need them quick hits of excitement in their lives as well. So maybe that could be something to do with how I am as well. But who knows? Who knows? we can explore that in another episode. Thank you all for listening. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure to bring you these delightful things. I hope you've enjoyed it. Give us a like, tell your friends, and there's big things coming for Stephen Speak. The end of Series 1 will end in October at some point, probably around my birthday, which is the 8th of October. And then Season 2, I'm going to take a break for maybe a week or two, and then Season 2 will start the end of October, beginning of November, and hopefully all my equipment should be here, so the sound should be much, much improved. I'm working on a new jingle, so hopefully that'll be done by then. I'm trying to get everything done at the same time, new logo, and I have 3 guests lined up so far. Yeah, so I can't wait to bring you that content, and just thank you for listening, and take care of yourselves. You've been listening to Stephen Speak Podcast. I'd appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button.